Hello, my dear students. Welcome you all to the botany classes. Hope you are all doing good at your studies as well as at your health, etc. In the previous classes, we have discussed about the underground modifications as well as the subaerial modifications of the stem. In today's class, we shall discuss about the aerial modifications of the stem. Aerial modifications of stem. Right. Aerial, subaerial, underground. In case of underground, the modified stem was completely present in the soil, completely buried in the soil. In case of subaerial, the modified stem was either just above the soil layer or just below the soil layer. But in case of aerial modification, the stem is completely in the aerial portion, completely in the air. That's why it is called aerial modifications, right? So we have some examples. We'll see one by one. Moving on to the first example, that is a stem tendril. Here, it's a modification of a stem in which axillary bud modifies into thin, wiry and highly sensitive structure called tendril. In this diagram, you can see clearly it is a coiled portion. It is a coiled portion formed by the modification of the axillary bud. In the lecture 3 or lecture 4, we discussed about the types of buds. Okay, one among them is axillary bud. The axillary bud modifies into a tendril. And here the tendrils help the plant to attach itself to the support and climb. Means the stem will usually have a weak stem. The plants will have a weak stem. So even then the plant wants to go into the air, go into the light to receive the light rays for photosynthesis. So it wants to expose its leaves for a light. Hence it will help the plant to attach itself to the support and climb to the height. They are found in plants with a weak stem. Remember here, plants having tendrils will have a very weak stem, and the tendrils are leafless. The tendrils do not have any leaves, and coiled structures with a sensitive adhesive glands for fixation. Means the tendril have a attaching or adhesive glands. That adhesive glands help the tendril to attach to the support. Okay, hence this will easily get attached to the supporting plant, supporting anything, wood, any wall, etc. We have some examples here. So in Passiflora, the axillary bud is a tendril. In case of a Passiflora or passion flower, tendril is the modification of a axillary bud. In case of vitis, that is grape plant, the tendril is a apical bud. Tendril is a apical bud. In case of cucurbita, the tendril is a modification of axillary bud. But in case of Antigonon, the floral bud is tendrilar. Means the bud actually it has to form the flower. Instead, it will form the tendril in case of Antigonon. Like that, different plants show different types of tendrils. Okay. Next modification of the aerial is a thorn. Here, thorn is a hard pointed, usually straight structure. You can see in the diagram a hard portion, hard pointed, usually straight structure produced by the modification of the axillary bud. Axillary bud modifies into hard structure, pointed spiny structure. And here the leaves, branches and flowers are developed on the thorns at the nodes, indicating that it is a modified stem. Means beside the thorn, either leaves will be developed, branches will be developed, flowers will be developed. So it says that it is a modified stem. If other parts do not be formed around the thorn, then thorn will not be a stem modification. But here, beside or just above the thorn, leaves are produced, some branches are produced, flowers are produced. Hence, thorn is a modified stem, right? And thorn provides protection against browsing animals, means the herbivorous animals which feed on the plant. So the plant wants to protect from those animals. So for that purpose, the some plants will produce the thorns. Example here is a citrus, bougainvillea, drontina, etc. In case of Carissa, the apical bud is modified into thorn. Usually, the thorn will be a modified axillary bud. But in case of the plant Carissa, the thorn is a terminal bud. Right. Like that, various plants will have various types in the thorn. Right. Moving on to the next. Phylloclade or cladophyll. Actually, it is a stem, but it gets transformed into leaf-like structure. Transformed into leaf-like structure. Here, the phylloclade is green, flattened structure with distinct nodes and internodes. You can see clearly in the diagram. The best example is opuntia. That is what we call cactus. Is the best example for the phylloclade. So here phylloclade is green flattened structure with distinct nodes and internodes. Here it is thick, fleshy and succulent. Thick, fleshy and succulent. The meaning of succulent is it stores the water in the form of mucilage. Succulent meaning is the plant stores the water in the form of mucus or mucilage. Right. So it's a thick, fleshy and succulent in case of opuntia, also called nagfani. It is a cylindrical in case of casuarina and Euphorbia thyricalli, and it is ribbon-like in Muhlenbeckia. Here, in xerophytes, leaves gets modified into spines or get reduced in size to check the loss of water due to transpiration. Hope you remember, the xerophytic plants get very less amount of water. So to save the water, the plants have to reduce or avoid transpiration. Here transpiration is a function of the leaves. Hence the function of leaves, the photosynthesis is taken up by the stem, but the stem do not have stomata, hence there is no transpiration in case of the stem. Hence the stem takes up function of photosynthesis, right? Phylloclade. Then cladode. In case of phylloclade, we have seen that the stem, modified stem, has unlimited growth. But here, these are green branches of limited growth. That is, they will have usually one internode long. They will have only one internode. At the next node, there is no formation of the branch, which have taken up the function of the photosynthesis. Just like phylloclade, these are also green, these are also slightly flat, they also have chlorophyll pigment, they also perform photosynthesis, but they do not perform the process of transpiration. And here the true leaves are reduced to scales or spines. Just to reduce the water loss, the leaves are reduced to spines or scales. Example, asparagus, you can see in the diagram. Last example is a bulbil. When the axillary bud becomes fleshy and rounded due to storage of the food, it is called bulbil. Means modification of the axillary bud into fleshy and rounded structure that stores the food. It is called a bulbil. It gets detached from the plant and falls on the ground and develops into the new plant. Example is a Dioscorea. One more example is agave. You can see in the diagram clearly the plant has many of the agave bulbils. So these many bulbils fall down and they develop into new agave plants, right? So this is enough for this class. We shall discuss a few more types in the next class. Mostly in the next class we shall discuss about the basic structure and functions of the leaves. It is enough about stem. We shall move on to the study that is about the leaves. See you in the next class. Thank you.